Daju was a young man full of life. In his town, everyone knew him for his good looks and smooth talk. Women couldn't resist him, and he knew it. He moved from one girl to another. He was known for not staying long in a relationship. His friends warned him many times, saying, "One day you will meet the wrong woman, Daju." But Daju always laughed. "I am untouchable," he would reply. One day, Daju met a military girl who has just been deployed to his town. She was beautiful and confident, and Daju was immediately drawn to her, as usual. They started dating, but things took a turn for the worse when the girl discovered Daju's infidelity. She was furious and dealt with him severely, teaching him a lesson he would never forget. Despite this experience, Daju did not change his ways. He continued to sleep around, never staying with one girl for too long. That was until he met her, the girl who would change his life forever. Her name was Nala. Nala was not like the other women in the village. She was quiet, mysterious, and rarely spoke to anyone. Her beauty was simple but unforgettable, smooth dark skin. She had bright eyes and a soft smile that seemed to hide a secret. Daju first saw her at the river washing clothes under the shade of a big tree. He couldn't take his eyes off her. "Who is she?" Daju asked a friend. "That's Nala," the friend replied. "She's new here. No one knows much about her." Daju grinned. A mystery was exactly what he liked. For days, he watched her from a distance, waiting for the right moment to talk to her. Finally, one evening, he approached her as he walked from the market. "Good evening," Daju said, flashing his charming smile. Nala looked at him carefully before responding, "Good evening." Her voice was soft, almost musical. "I have been noticing you," Daju said confidently. "You are not like anyone else in this village." Nala smiled faintly. "Maybe that's because I don't belong here." Daju laughed. "Then where do you belong?" Nala didn't answer. Instead, she said, "Be careful, Daju. Not everything you want is good for you." Her words surprised him, but he shrunk them off. Daju didn't take warnings seriously. He didn't even ask himself how she got to know his name without telling her his name. After a few more meetings, Nala finally agreed to visit Daju's house. That night, he cleaned his small room and prepared food, eager to impress her. When she arrived, she seemed calm but distant, as if her mind was somewhere else. They talked for hours, and Daju felt himself drawn to her in a way he had never felt before. There was something about Nala that made him want to know more, but every time he asked personal questions, she avoided them. They had sex, and Daju thought he had scored again, but little did he know his life was about to take a dramatic turn. As they lay in bed, Daju fell asleep, exhausted from their lovemaking. When Daju fell asleep, he was haunted by strange dreams. In one, he was running through a dense forest, the sound of hissing all around him. He turned, but no one was there. The trees seemed alive, their branches twisting like serpents. He woke up in a cold sweat. He was shocked to see that his door and windows were awkwardly and unusually opened at about 3 a.m. Daju was certain that he had closed them before going to sleep. Daju sat up confused. The window which he had locked before bed was wide open. The door which he had bolted stood ajar, creaking softly as if someone had just stepped out. As he looked around the room, he saw Nala standing in front of him. But she was not the same girl he had met earlier. Her body had transformed into a half-human, half-snake creature. Daju was horrified and tried to scream, but his voice was frozen in his throat. The creature spoke to him in a low, husky tone, saying,
Daju, I have been waiting for you. I have been watching you, and I know all about your ways. But despite your infidelity, I love you, and I want to be with you forever.
Daju was shocked and terrified. He did not know what to say or do. He tried to run away, but his body was paralyzed with fear. Immediately, Nala disappeared. For days, Daju didn't see Nala. He felt unease, but he couldn't explain why. He told himself it was just his imagination. He also avoided questions when his friends asked about Nala. He couldn't tell them what had happened. One evening, while Daju sat outside, Nala appeared at his door and asked him to come inside, but Daju refused. A neighbor saw him speaking aggressively but to no one. The neighbor concluded that Daju must have run mad. Nala looked the same, half human, half snake, but her eyes were different, darker, more intense. Daju, she said, her voice gentle, I came back here because I care about you. But Daju felt a strange fear in his chest. Their first night encounter resonated within him, but he knew he can't continue with Nala. I am sorry, Nala, he said. I don't think we should see each other again. Nala's expression didn't change, but her eyes seemed to glow for a moment. Are you sure about that? She asked softly. Yes, Daju said, avoiding her gaze. It's better this way. Nala nodded slowly. I understand, but be careful, Daju. Sometimes choices come with consequences. With that, she turned and walked away. Daju felt a relief. Then he thought to himself, that was easy to push away. That evening, Daju, who had stopped going to the bar, resumed at the local bar to continue his escapades. What would happen next wasn't anything anyone would have expected.